Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and if you received any benefits over the past year, well, you might be getting a letter in the mail from the CRA, because they're going to be reviewing the benefits of over 200,000 Canadians in the coming months. Now, some people might be unaffected, but others may have their benefits reduced, canceled altogether, or even have to pay them back. So in today's video, we're going to be covering exactly what this statement that they released is, who will be receiving this letter, and what to do if you get one, and what information you might need to provide if they ask you to. But before we do, make sure to check out all the links in the description and subscribe to the channel. Whenever you use those links in the description, it helps support this channel directly, so I appreciate it when you take a look at those. But now let's get into this release that the CRA recently put out. The CRA initially put out this statement on Twitter saying, "Are your benefits being reviewed? It's not just you. We send about 200,000 letters a year to confirm we have the right information on file. Here's how to respond if you hear from us." And we're going to go into some of the nitty-gritty details here in just a moment, but it is important to emphasize that they're getting this information to confirm that they have the right information on file. So this is might be a relief to some people hearing this, because it's true that if you applied for these benefits and you were 100% eligible, well, likely when you provide this information, nothing is going to change. So this is just confirming that all of the information that you've provided has been accurate. And here's the more detailed release on the actual CRA or Government of Canada website, saying that benefit reviews have resumed. Please note that if you are a benefit recipient, we may contact you to request information or documentation to complete your review. And if you're experiencing difficulty getting the requested documentation, you need to contact them so that they can help you. So you could receive this information in one of two ways. Either if you've signed up on the CRA, My CRA account, you could be getting this in your email. But second, again, if you've been applying on the phones, or maybe even if you're applying online, you may also receive a letter in the mail. So keep your eyes open for that. But only certain people will be receiving this letter, and this section of the release lets us know exactly what type of people are going to be receiving this. They say that if you receive a letter from the CRA telling you that your benefits are being reviewed, you're not alone, there's 200,000 people getting it, and that files are selected based on risk and whether you've had a life event that affects your benefits and credits. This applies for both these pandemic benefits like the CRB, CRCB, and the CWLB, the Canada Worker Lockdown Benefit, but it also applies to other things like potentially the Canada Child Benefit or other benefits that are sort of applied on this national level, for which maybe a change in marital status or a change in potentially having a kid could affect these benefit applications and these benefit eligibilities. So it seems that people who have had these life-altering circumstances, well, they may be the people that the CRA is more heavily sort of targeting with these audits. And also they say that it's based on risk. Now, I'm not exactly sure what mechanism they're using here, but maybe we'll get a little bit more information as we go in deeper. And yeah, confirming what I'm saying, changes to your marital status, the children in your care, and your address could make you more likely to actually receive this letter that's asking for further information to verify your eligibility for the benefits you've been receiving. Now, here's what to do if you do receive this letter. The CRA says to keep calm and respond. It's important that you reply and send all the information requested as soon as possible, and you can send that in two ways, using the online My account on the CRA's My CRA portal, or by mail or fax to the address or fax number that's provided in the letter that you receive. And this is an important thing to note because this is a little bit different from the way that they've handled benefits in the past. Certainly for the CRB, they didn't handle it this way, but they say that while they're verifying your eligibility, you will not stop receiving your benefits and credits. This is important because in previous instances, people have been cut off from their benefits until they can prove their eligibility. It seems that the CRA, at least based on this information, is trusting that your eligibility is true, but just looking for those additional details to verify it. So it's really important that you need to respond to the letter or sort of call in or reply via your My CRA account, because if you don't respond to the letter, they may adjust your benefits based on the information that they have that may or may not be entirely accurate. So it could mean that your benefits may decrease or stop altogether, and you may be asked to repay certain benefits that were previously sent to you. So of course you want to avoid this at all costs, and by providing the information that proves your eligibility, you could avoid a situation like this. And they emphasize the importance of responding to this letter in this section here, even if you can't get the documents that they're requesting. And we're going to go over what those documents might be in just a moment here. If you can't get a hold of these documents, they say that you should call the number provided in your letter, so that CRA agent can help you review your file and potentially mark on your file that this is something that's being handled, and make it so that they wait before changing things. So if you're not able to get these documents in a timely manner, it's very important that you call the letter that's provided in, or the number that's provided in the individual letter or email that's sent to you. And there's one thing that to note, because this is a scam that comes across at certain times. When the CRA emails you, it's sometimes difficult to verify whether or not that's a scam or it's an actual CRA email. So they provide this number that you can call to verify the authenticity of the document that was sent to you via email or via the letter. Now, the information that you may be asked to provide is broken down into 5 different categories based on the life-changing circumstances that may have happened to you to trigger this sort of audit being done of your benefits. The first one is your marital status. That's the one that can change. Your residency, your primary caregiver status, like over a child or a loved one, and your citizenship and immigration status. And then they're listing all of these on their detailed page here. We're going to go over them. One thing that's not included on this page, because it's not traditionally a factor, but it may be in this instance since we've had these pandemic benefits, is your income status, the amount of money you've made in previous years and how much you may have to pay back if you've made it too much. It's different for every different benefit, but those are the 5 categories: marital status, residency change, primary caregiver, and citizenship or immigration status, along with your income, changes in your income. If you've had a change in marital status, they may ask for documents both before and after this status change. Whether you're getting married or potentially getting divorced or separated, you've got to show one from previously, like where you were before, and then one after the change. And they could ask for any of these number of supporting documents: property tax bills, mortgage papers, rental or lease agreements, insurance policies, household bills, dental plan, medical bills, RRSP or employment pension plans, driver's license or vehicle registration, car insurance, credit card statements, or any other document or information that shows a change to your marital status. So they're not going to ask for all of these, but you have to provide at least one of them, certainly, to prove that there has been this change in your marital status. Next up is your residency. If the CRA is potentially suspicious that you're no longer a Canadian resident, you're no longer actually living in Canada, they may want to confirm that you are still a resident of Canada and that you're not just showing that or not showing that to sort of game the system. And they may ask for the purpose of your stay outside of Canada and a list of ties that you kept in Canada during any absence, like your healthcare coverage, driver's license, availability of a residence, like having a rental or a property in Canada that is still sort of tying you to Canada, memberships in professional organizations or bank accounts or any other tie to Canada and abroad, again, to prove that you are still a Canadian resident if you have potentially left the country, or that you are now a Canadian resident if you're coming back. Similar evidence may be asked of you to prove that you have changed your primary caregiver status, maybe have had a child or have taken a child into your custody as a result of many different things that could have happened for you. And they may ask for documents like the proof of birth for the child, maybe their birth certificate, a letter from a nursery or school, a letter from your family doctor, copy of a report card, a registration into a school. If the child is being homeschooled, a letter from the school board that is allowing you to do that homeschool arrangement, a registration form or receipt from a club, a complete and signed court order, and any other document showing that the child lived with you during the period being reviewed. Now, of course, this is important when it comes to things like the Canada Child Benefit, where Canadians can receive extra funding and additionally extra taxed breaks if you have a child that is under your care, as a way that the Canadian government, certainly the Liberals have put this in their time in power, have provided additional funding for people who have children that are that they are primary caregivers for. So again, this is why this section of the document is so important. But moving on here, I'll slide down, and then the fourth, I believe, section could be your citizenship or immigration status. If you need to prove your citizenship, you could be asked for these documents: your birth certificate, citizenship card, certificate of citizenship, Canadian passport, or a hospital record of birth, if they want to verify that you are actually a Canadian citizen. And if you're verifying you're a permanent resident, any of these sort of details may be asked of you. Record of landing, permanent resident card, confirmation of permanent residence. You can see the rest of the list here. The list goes on, but these are the documents that you may be able to provide to prove these things if the CRA requests it of you. And finally, not included on this CRA page is, of course, your 2020 tax return. If you've done this, you will have a verification of your income amount. This is especially important for things like the recovery benefits, whether it be the caregiving or the sickness or even the worker lockdown benefit. All of these require you to have made $5,000 in the previous year of employment income, a previous year, or I believe also 2020 or the past 12 months. Again, this is all eligibility requirements that were included on that original application. So they may ask for proof of this, and the best proof of that would be your completed 2020 tax returns. So if you haven't done those tax returns yet, I would definitely recommend doing so. Even if you haven't yet received this letter, if you suspect you might, it would be good to have a record of your income so that you can prove that you were in fact eligible for the benefits that you've received, so that you don't enter a situation where these benefits could be reduced, canceled altogether, or deemed that you weren't eligible for them in the first place, which is a worst case scenario where you may even have to pay back these benefits. So definitely some information here in this video that could help you sort of get a head start in case you get this letter in the mail from the CRA, which often can be a kind of a scary thing to have happen. If you have any questions about this, let me know down there in the comments section. I'll do my best to get back to you. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, if you appreciate this information being brought to you ahead of time. And as well, you can check out the links in the description. Whenever you use those, you support the channel directly. If you've never set up an investment account before, a great way to do that is with Wealthsimple. I've got a new program set up there where you can get $50 free when you set up and fund your account with $150. So if that's something you might be interested in doing, then you can get a free $50. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already done so. But with all that said, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video has helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.